Dear fellow travelers, today, the end of June 2020, the weather is very good, coronavirus is going to be finished, so I invite you to our next journey. So we are staying now at the Independence Square, or in Ukrainian language, Майдан Незалежності, and from this place we begin our route number 2. We will see a lot of interesting places from different epochs, but as they locate in the same direction, you can save your time, and during 1 hour, this is approximate duration of our tour, you will see a lot of historical places. So, which places we will see? It includes 4 points. Point number 1, former Lenin Museum. Point number 2, the place where Kyivs Rus was baptized. Point number 3, Dnipro River, bridge to Trukhaniv Island. And also we will see small monuments for Swedish fans which used to live there in 2012 during Euro. And point number 4, the station, Kyiv station for river ships, and begin of Podil, the former trade center of Old Kyiv. So now we should go to this direction, to the beginning of Krishchatik Street, and to the place with the name European Square. So go ahead. Standpoint number 1, European Square. But I want to draw your attention to the building which locates in front of me. So I want to take your attention to this building. Now it's International Congress Center, where a lot of exhibitions, meetings, seminars take place, but before it was Lenin Museum. So some interesting facts for you.
The museum was opened in the April of 1982. It was one of the biggest buildings in the Kyiv at that time. Inside there were big halls and even 5 meters sculpture of Lenin. Many young pupils came to the area to join the pioneers, the former children's organization in the Soviet Union. But the destiny of this building was very short. It existed only for a little bit less than 11 years. After the Ukraine began independence, the museum was closed and the sculpture of Lenin was dismounted. By the way, now you listen the well-known song. Google translated it like Bonfire Blue Nights. Difficult to understand what it means for foreigners. I think only former pioneers can catch up deep minds. Anyway, let's go to the point number 2. When you see this building, please go through underground crossing to the next side of the street, turn left and go down. We must do it now, because further we will not have possibility to cross the descent.
Approximately after 200 meters, you will see this sign. This sign means beginning of Podil area. Before the sign, please turn right and go down the stairs. During you go down, you can make a lot of picturesque photos. So this monument was built up in the 1802 in the honor of returning Kyiv Magdeburg. So almost 200 years ago, and inside there is a bowl, and before there was holy water. And in the European Square, where we were 10 minutes ago, there was, at those times, there was a small lake which fed up by the small river from Krishchatik River. Now there is Krishchatik Street. And even here in this place, there was some small creek or small river. And there were a lot of springs on these hills around me. But to regret, climate has changed, and we can see now, come to me, we can see now what's inside. Please come to me. Please show what we have inside. I think no water, yes? Absolutely no water, it's dry. Maybe for many years, I think. But before, as far as I know from history, there was holy spring. So let's go further.
Here we can see the fragment of old map of Kiev at the beginning of 18th century. Sorry for primitive drawing, as I'm not a designer. So red line, this is the old Kiev. As we see, almost all the Kiev was still on the hill above. Brown line, it was before Krishchatik Valley with some small creek. Now here is the main street with the same name. Blue circle, there was a small lake. Now there is European square. Yellow circle, monument, which you saw now on the video. So 200 years ago there were springs, creeks and lakes in the center of Kiev. Black line, this is Podil, the former trade center for all Kiev, because all the logistic before was made almost through rivers. Yeah. Also green line, this is the rest of Sand Spit, which used to separate Dnipro river and Pochayna river. In the place where these two rivers joined, the Kyiv Rus was baptized. Anyway, let's go to the place where the Kyivs Rus were baptized and to see it.
So now we are staying at the place where the Kyivs Rus was baptized. Before, two riverbeds, Pochayna river and Dnipro river, are connected. Also there was a sand spit which finished here. This sand spit separated these two rivers. And also there was some small beach sand. Some small sand beach, sorry. So it was generally ideal place for swimming, and we can say that the rite of baptism was did exactly at this place, because Pochayna river, it was a small river with low flow speed in compared with Dnipro river. Even now you can see that the water flow speed is not slow, but at this time it was much higher. Scientists guess that Kyiv Rus was baptized at 988, but before there was a prehistory. All the Slavic tribes which used to live at these lands worshipped pagan idols. The main of them was Perun. They imagined him like old wisdom man who could shoot lightning like Zeus in Greek mythology. But Volodymyr the Great decided to choose new religion. Initially, Muslims came to him and asked him to accept their faith. The Muslim told him about some restrictions in their faith, including not allowance to drink wine. And the great Volodymyr said, "Oh, we like to drink wine, and we have fun with it." And he didn't accept their faith. Next, there were visitors from Rome. They also told him that during the religious post, when they eat or drink something, it's all for the glory of the God. And the great Volodymyr said, "Oh, our father didn't accept it, and also please go back where did you come from." After this, there were visitors, they were Jews. And the great Volodymyr asked them, "Where is your motherland?" And they had to accept that the God scattered them into other countries. So it was also rejection. And finally there was the man from Byzantium.
So he told Volodymyr the Great about biblical history and the Christian faith, and after some time Volodymyr decided to accept this faith. But before, he decided additionally tastes all the faiths to attend their divine service with Muslims, Catholics, Jewish and Greeks. When after visiting Constantinople the envoys returned to Kiev, they enthusiastically informed the prince, "We didn't know where we are, in the heaven or on the earth." As a result, Volodymyr made a choice in favor of Christianity and the Orthodox faith. But Volodymyr himself was baptized in the Church of Constantinople, not in Kiev. These pictures show us how Volodymyr the Great was baptized in Constantinople and how to choose the faith. In the year of 988, Volodymyr the Great baptized the Kyiv Rus in the water of Pachina River. Of course, it was only the beginning. This process took more than 1 century. Christianity was implanted in some territories by force, and at the same time religious buildings of the pagans were destroyed. Those who resisted were repressed. In the hill where there is now the sculpture of Volodymyr the Great, there was a wooden monument of Old Slavonic god Perun. When Volodymyr baptized Rus, he ordered to cut down this one and to drop it into the river. Many people were crying when the Perun was pulling down to the river from the hill, and people said that unexpectedly appeared clouds and there was a thunder. So, during many centuries that hill was a bad place, and only when monument of Volodymyr was erected in 1853, this hill became just a peaceful public place. Now we can see the picture with the name of the throne of Perun. Now we can understand what people felt when their god was destroyed.
And now I offer, let's go along this pavement and go up to the bridge to Trukhaniv Island. So now we are staying at the bridge which connects right bank of Dnipro River and Trukhaniv Island. This bridge is only for pedestrians, bicycles, yes, and service cars. The bridge was erected in 1957 just to stay and adore picturesque views. And then I offer you to enter Trukhaniv Island, turn left, and you will see the monument, to Swedish football fans. So, after you make some photos, follow.
Now the island is inhabited, but before Second World War there was a big village. Most buildings were erected on the wooden poles to survive in the heavy springs flooded of Dnipro River. So every spring it was a local Italy with Venice in the center of Kiev. I mean, the birds were the only transport there. Here you can see some photos. To regret, during the Second World War the village was completely destroyed, and lately the Soviet government decided not to recover this village. Now this is the rest area for people with nice beach sand. The only warning that the river flow in this place is a little bit high, so I don't recommend to swim here with small children. As you know, during the 15th, 16th years of the last century, many dams were built along Dnipro River. Around 100 kilometers down the river near Kyiv, there is a dam near the city Kyivs. It was erected to protect Kyiv against springs flooding. On these photos you can see the springs floodings. All the left bank of the Kyiv is underwater. Real sea. On these photos you can see our bridge in summertime. The main stream of Dnipro River is much less than now. Dam increased the water level near the Kyiv and allowed to create protection against springs flooding.
We are staying now near the small sculpture for Swedish football fans, Euro 2012. During this football championship, hotel sector of Kyiv was overcrowded, so a lot of temporary buildings were erected. In this area there was a tent town for football fans from Sweden. Good weather, forest, river, nice girls, and of course football. All of these things I don't them so much that lately, together with local government, it was decided to leave the sign as a respect to Kyiv. So just observe, and then I offer you return back through the bridge, turn right, and go to the Kyivs river port or river station. Now we are staying near the building of former Kyivs river port or river station. I say former because it stayed closed and empty for many years. During the Soviet Union era, from this place, every hour many river vessels departed to cities and villages which located along the Dnipro river. But after creation of socialism, rivers logistics turned out to be economically unprofitable. And during short period, all the river transport was closed. Regarding this building, it was erected in the 1961, and by the idea of architecture, it was it should be looks like a vessel, and this building is under protection of government, so nobody can change its facade. But due to some reasons, for many years nobody bought this building, so it's still empty and waiting for its owner. But only in summertime now we can see some small river ships depart from here to some short river tours for 1-2 hours, but nothing more.
There are some photos of river spot at the time of its blossoming. Also you can see here the beginning of Podil, the former trade area of Kyiv. Barges, ships, boats and other types of vessels came here with passengers and goods. Even when Kyiv was connected by railway, the Kyiv river spot enlarged and empowered. Because for many cities and villages located along the river, ships was the only reliable kind of logistic at that time. Further you can see some ships with underwater wings. People call such ships rocket, very comfortable and fast. Motor more than 1200 horsepower. Some ships could reach 120 km per hour and during short period got many cities located along Dnipro river. You don't have to build up or renovate roads. River is a road with ideal service. But these ships were designed in Soviet Union project institutes. It means in the epoch of socialism nobody counted the fuel consumption. Yes, they consumed too much fuel, so their destiny was defined, and they died like Concorde in the sky. Now most people count money and don't count time.
So now we are staying from the opposite side of this building, Kyiv's river port or river station, and here we are finishing our route number 2. From this place, which is called Post Square or Poštova Plošća, you can walk, for example, along the street near this church to the main place of Podil, Kontraktova Square or Kontraktova Plošća, or you can use funicular, or you can go down to metro station, which has the same name, Post Square or Poštova Plošća. Anyway, if somehow you are planning to come to Kyiv and you have an interest in my assistance for this route number 2 or any other my routes, you can contact to my mail before, and if I have time I can assist you, because generally this is not my main business, this is my hobby. So anyway, you're welcome.